What's up, everybody? Skunk72 coming at you from Southern California. I'm doing my quarterly ride to the dentist, which if I didn't get to ride to it, I probably wouldn't go. Hate going there. Hope everybody's surviving your winters. Hang in there, man. You guys are all in the final stretch. Spring is just around the corner. So pretty soon, everybody's going to be riding again. So for today's video, I'm going to do a little response. Faith Biker put up a video that asked about everybody's most memorable ride. There's actually two that I'm going to end up talking about because there's no way I can really compare one to the other and make one more memorable than the other. But I don't think I'm going to talk about it yet. I'm going to go hit my dentist appointment, and then I will come home the long way and a little bit better scenery and talk about those two rides then. I know one of them, for people that have subbed to my channel for a while now, like since I started, I've talked about one of the rides before. And I'm not sure that I've talked about the other one, but since I have a lot of new subscribers, I'll go ahead and go over both of those rides again. And I'm sure just by watching the video, everybody's going to understand why those are my most memorable rides. So until then, I'm going to cut it out so I don't waste a bunch of time just babbling about stupid crap. And I will get back to you when it's time to talk about those rides. See you in a few. Alright, so I'm finally done with that old dentist appointment. And she didn't hurt me too bad today. So we're doing good. I can finally get to what I was wanting to talk about, which was my best ride, which is actually going to be two of my most memorable rides. So one would be my first ever ride on a Harley Davidson. Now, for that one, I started riding real late in life, and it's something that I had always dreamed of doing, and I just never grew out of that dream. So one of the times that my dad came down to visit from Seattle, he came down on his Harley. Him and my stepmom did the whole trip on the bike. Took like several weeks because they, weren't in a hurry to get anywhere. And when they were here, I was checking out the bike. My kids, they went for rides with him on the Harley and kind of got me fired up again. I started looking at bikes again, and well, my dad for Christmas that year decided that my Christmas gift would be he was going to pay for me to take the motorcycle safety course. So I went ahead and did that, got my license and everything, but still had nothing to ride. And a couple months later, I went on a trip up to my dad's house to apply for a job, which didn't work out, unfortunately, because I really want to move to Seattle. But while I was up there, we had gone around, we were looking at different Harley dealerships, and my dad, who was planning on getting a new bike, while we were at one of the dealerships, went ahead and bought a 2014 Ultra Limited, this time, a Wazoo model. So I was thinking, alright, cool. He throws me the keys to his BMW and says, here, can you drive this home? I gotta ride the bike home. So alright, no problem. So we get his new bike home, and maybe 5 minutes after being there, he says, well, I couldn't help but notice we have two bikes. I think we should go for a ride. Now, here I am, newly licensed rider. Did the safety course on like a 250 or it was either a 250 or a 300cc bike. Here he is throwing me the keys to this modified 96 cubic inch, bored out to a 103. Different high performance cams. He's tossing me the keys to this bike, saying, "Hey, let's go for a ride." So here I was, scared to freaking death. But this ride, especially being there in Seattle, beautiful place, with my dad, was just like everything I had ever dreamed of. So of course I went for the ride, still not knowing what riding was going to do for me. And at that moment I was hooked. I don't want to say I did great. I had trouble turning the bike because, I mean, let's be real, we're talking about a 1,000-pound bike. So, the bike I was riding was a 2007 Ultra Classic. It's a heavy ass full dresser bike. So I had a little bit of trouble turning it. And I know one of the turns, it was like a right turn. You couldn't see around the other side, and as soon as you went around that turn, you were in a pretty steep hill. So I ended up stalling it on this hill. Which, you know, new rider, heavy bike, great place to stall out on a hill, where I'm going to have to start again on a hill. But I ended up getting it done. And that week while I was there, we went on a few more rides and just had a blast, and I loved it. So that's the number one memorable ride. The number two memorable ride, which I know I've already talked about in a previous vlog. My grandpa rode motorcycles his entire life. And it's gotten to the point where his bike is too heavy for him because his legs aren't in good shape, and dialysis, and he's just not as strong as he used to be, which is kind of hard to see because he was always the strongest man I ever knew. But one of the times that my dad was down here visiting, we decided we were going to go rent a trike. So my dad and I went to, I can't think of the name of the place right now. Oh, Eagle, no. God, it's a really big rental place. I gotta try and think of the name of it. Eagle Rider, I think that's what it is. We checked out multiple different places, nobody had a trike for rent, and we got a hold of Eagle Rider, and they had one. So, about 60 miles away is where we went to pick it up at, and I got the luxury of riding it home, which was quite the experience because I'd never been on a trike before. And the way a trike works, because it steers like a car, so there's no counter steering, but it's like every time you're turning it, you're fighting the thing through the entire turn. So after riding it half the day, by the time we got it back to my grandpa's house, I was used to it. It wasn't that hard anymore. So the next day we had this big ride planned. My grandpa on the rental trike, my dad on his Ultra Limited, I was on my Fat Bob, and then my best friend, he goes by the name of Bear. He's part of the family, so he was obviously invited to come along on his 1200 Custom Sportster. So we get the old man on the trike and get ready to take off, and we went over hand signals and stuff with him, and we decided that if at any time he needed to stop and take a break, he was to start flipping us all off, and that would be our cue to find a place to stop and rest. So our plan for the day was to ride from where we live to Ventura. We went to the harbor, so it's about 60 miles away. So on this ride, I took lead the entire time, and I was watching my grandpa in the mirror. I'll be damned, that old man never once complained about anything. He was just loving life the entire ride. Went and stopped, had a nice lunch. Go ahead and rode home, and we had him out. Between the riding and the couple stops that we made just to check stuff out, We had him out on the trike probably for a good 6 hours or so, and the old man never complained once. He also wasn't following the rules because we had decided that it was going to be a requirement when getting on or off the trike. Because of his weak legs, he was supposed to wait for somebody to help him on and off. Yeah, he didn't like that too much, so he was kind of doing what he was wanting to do, and there was no way we were going to tell him no, he couldn't. There's only one thing I would want to change about that ride. Because it was a 3-generation ride, I wish my kids were old enough to have gone, to be riding bikes and to have gone with us. So it could have been a 4-generation run. That would have been just amazing. Just now, I don't know if we're going to be able to do that again. I'm not sure if he's got the strength anymore to even ride the trike. I'd be more than happy to try if he was willing to do it, and I know for a fact my dad would love to do it again. In fact, we even considered right after that ride, because my grandpa, he ended up on Goldwings, rode Harleys when he was younger, and actually after I got my Harley, I got him to admit that he really missed his Harley and wished he had never gotten rid of it. But we were thinking about turning his Goldwing into a trike. There's actually a company up in Washington that makes do-it-yourself kits to trike it out. It was about $5,000 for the kit. So we were gonna do it, but honestly, I don't see the point now because he's really not gonna be able to ride that much. But I just remember growing up and always seeing my grandpa on his bike. That was just, I can't even describe how amazing that day was for me. To not only be on that ride with my dad, but with my grandpa too. So there you have it, Faith Biker. Those are my 2 most memorable rides, and I can't really put one above the other. So I had to talk about them both. I think that was against the rules, but I don't care. Pretty sure I was supposed to come up with one ride that was the absolute most memorable one. So that one's that's like a tie for first place. So anyway, there you have it. I know I haven't done a vlog in a little while. Been working a lot again. You guys all know I do that sometimes. Hopefully the insane work hours will be coming to an end in the near future. I got the license that I've been waiting for, and I'm actually gonna get a couple more certificates this coming up Sunday for it's an EKG certification. I already know how to do it, but I don't have a certification for it. So I'm going to be in a class all day on Sunday getting certified. Just a little something extra to throw out on my resume that'll hopefully make me stand out above some other people that might be applying for the same job. But anyway, the job I've been wanting, I've got my applications in. I'm just waiting to hear back from them. Hopefully get an interview one of these days. Anyway, I'm coming up on a slow truck here that's gonna kind of make this ride a little boring, unfortunately, because I love this canyon. So I'm gonna go ahead and call the vlog quits for right now. Thank you guys all for watching. Thank you, Faith Biker, for getting this topic started. And I will talk to you all later. See you all next time. Rubber side down, shiny side up, and peace.